So this is a wristwatch. You just gotta clean it off. It ain't doing anything. Laptop, Toshiba. There's the second session sediment for the Toshiba. And the brown with the yellow on top is the first session. This is the third session. I tore apart the laptop. I didn't do the keyboard, but Toshiba, all garbage there. Broke apart the PCBs, everything down in there, and they're ripped. Gotta clean this out. This wristwatch is not doing anything. Keep the chip for the laptop. This is the cover for the watch. There's a battery out of the laptop. So this right here weighs about 2 grams. It was worn halfway down before I started the session. The other half is in the bottom of the glass. It's the copper deposit. See the copper deposits? It's some other goo. Pretty clean. There's a tiny piece of wire in there. So that light it's not even measurable. It's probably copper, maybe, or maybe a little bit of. This just needs to be cleaned off a little bit, and then it'll start oxidizing and copper. There's a couple pieces of gold 24 karat wire. That's copper wire for the electrode. There's another piece. There's nothing left there. Copper coil, untouched. It might have been, you know, the insulation on the copper wire was deplated, so that's exposed. It'll oxidize. Leave that, not much more. It was gold plated. The back side of it was. There's still a little bit more on there. See, it's just going to keep yellowing up like that, and that's just copper. Copper will do that. Once this gets settled down good, and if it stays yellow in the top, that's the copper, and you can siphon that off. And it, you know, a little bit helping on the refining. You know, to make it 24 karat again. So this is rolling good. See, if there's nothing going on a piece like that, it means it's not contacting with anything else. It contacted one piece anyway, and just the other pieces touching, will make a contact. Because when I did the big pins and connectors, I only had 2 cables going in there. There's no need to do any more than 2 cables, because they don't do nothing. So this activity here, it's not where the connection is, because the ground cable is over here on that side, and that's just the, see, when you see it spread out through all of them, if they're all bubbling a little bit like that, then you get a good connection, and the ground floats, doesn't need to touch anything. So it's just not even a measurable amount right here. Not even a 100,000ths of a gram. But we'll just let that settle down, and then I'll put it in a smaller container. This is a laptop. This is a laptop from a Toshiba. Broken all up. This is the second session. This is the first session. This is a cheap watch. And this is the Apple sediment. Apple phone. Next we'll let this go for a few hours. I'll put it on the charger. And then do a clean off. Here's the Apple phone. This is the Motorola phone and the LG phone. Everything's in there with it. And that can be hit again. It seems like a lot off of Toshiba. Once it dries out, it might come out to an ounce. That could be a quarter ounce, eighth, less. That could be a half ounce, maybe more. Probably not, because it's a cheap gold watch and it's only, low carat. The only good part about the watch was the inside ring, and that was shining before this last session. It was shining like it was brand new, and everything else was deplated, but that's gone. It's in there now. Stuff is very light. But might only turn out to be a half ounce. Might be some plastics in there. They won't survive the incineration. After burn it off, and whatever's in there, if it survives the incineration, then we'll bag it up. You just move the cable around in there once in a while, and if you see the bubbles, you'll see the strength of the bubbling. If it's light, you gotta tighten up the connection on the hot wire. Move things around. Just pour this off real quick, see what it looks like. Yeah, keep all that junk out. Don't want any solids in the stock pot. See the copper? Put that right back in here. So that's the Apple phone. This is the clock, wristwatch, second or third session on the wristwatch. Second, whatever, but it's the same stuff pretty much from the first session. It's a little bit browner, but it's more settled down. That might darken up a little once you get more condensed. We'll just leave it at that for now. Probably plastic. So that's light stuff that come out of that Toshiba stuff from the cell phone boards. Also got a different sediment, extremely light aluminum type sediment. That was from the cell phone boards, and that was from before I took apart the cell phone boards. First session, came out with a black material. I drew it with a black material. Maybe a biofilm or oil, aluminum, something. I already marked that one. This is the first cheap clock watch. Cheap watch. Maybe 2 sessions in there. I think I did a short first session and then an hour and a half long, so it was about 2 hours there. And today, hour session, so 3-hour sessions on the clock watch. 3 hours altogether. So the copper deposits on the bottom, the insulated from the copper deposits, the insulation that was deplated is probably in here, and it's not a measurable amount. The entire length of the wire is insulated. But it's not a measurable amount. You could have a mile long of wire like that, and you're not gonna amount to much. Not compared to the weight. It's not even gonna affect it. It would show up on an XRF machine. You know, it might be a little bit of tantalum or other things palladium and, you know, whatever you're using the cell phone boards, but looks to be as though the deplating is reverse plating the precious metals and leaving the base metals like this in the big pins and connectors, because it's not decaying the steel, the aluminum, the copper, because that's all that's in there. This wasn't reverse plated. These are all transistors, the MOSFETs. There's nothing left there. They're just oxidizing copper plates. That wasn't reverse electroplated. That was dealt with other means. But basically, it's not putting the base metals. Maybe aluminum. Be a light bit of aluminum in it, or nickel, maybe. But insulation doesn't amount to much. Of course, if you got a 24 karat wire and you insulate a 24 karat gold wire and you insulate it with gold, that insulation isn't even measurable, hardly. But if you got a piece of silver, copper wire or silver, and you plate it with 20 karat gold, well, it's still going to deplate and leave that solid piece of inner metal. This is from the watch. Didn't do anything to it. Leaving a steel. It's all the steel still in there.